Let's go, Ryan. Welcome to the Tartaro House in Yukon, Oklahoma. My name is Jack Tartaro, and I'm the next Master Chef. I'm so happy that my good friends Cameron and Emery could come tonight and help me out. Last minute, they told me I had to submit a 45-minute video by the end of Thursday, November 13th. It is 7:15 on Thursday, November the 13th. And I got to get this done in 45 minutes. So thank you so much to Studio 12, to Cam and Emery for coming over here tonight and getting me this great setup to submit my video. So tonight, I am submitting my video, and I'm going to make a dish that is near and dear to my heart. It is my wife's favorite dish. It's chicken piccata. An easy recipe: lemon, capers, chicken broth, a nice brown on that chicken. It's going to have a nice bite to it. I'm going to make some, yes, homemade pasta in 45 minutes with a little mushroom, crushed red pepper. We're going to do some nice grilled vegetables, zucchini and squash with that. So we got a lot to do in 45 minutes, and I'm just so blessed to have this opportunity to do this. I hope it goes well. So let's get this thing started. First things first, we got to throw on the apron, and yes, we got to put the hair up because we don't want any of this getting in your food. It looks good, but it doesn't taste good. So we're going to get that going. Every time I put on this apron, I think of my family who got it for me. This is actually a Christmas present quite a few years ago. But my grandmother taught me, anytime you're cooking, if you don't have an apron, the most important thing to have is a towel over your shoulder. So this stays here as well. Hair is going to go up. We're going to get this thing going. So we got 45 minutes. What time is it now? I got 7:16, so we got till 8:01 to make this thing legit. So I hope this thing works out. It's a lot to do, but I hope the product is finished that you guys love. The fresh pasta will cook in like 2 or 3 minutes, so I'm not too worried about that. Always, though, with this, we'll get the burner on. Salt that water. Always salt that water. And I'm pretty liberal with it. Plenty of salt in there. We'll just leave that there, throw a lid on it, and forget about it. So water is going. Now the hard part. Let's do some homemade pasta. So I was told like the distribution for pasta is always 100 grams, which is roughly 3/4 a cup of flour, to 1 medium to large egg. So I'm going to do double that. So we're going to do 1.5 cups. These are half-cup deals. I actually don't know where my full cup is right now, so we're just going to have to do this 3 times to get 1.5 cups of flour. And then we are going to do 2 large eggs. I like to whisk the eggs before I put it in there, and I know you're supposed to do this by hand, but we only have 45 minutes, so we're going to try and hurry up on this, but I'm going to whisk these 2 eggs in here. I keep an extra egg just in case sometimes that dough will be a little dry, maybe it'll be too moist, but what you want to do is just make sure that maybe you can add a little bit of olive oil or something to moisten the dough so you do get that mixture that you want. So I like using the needle on the KitchenAid. This was actually a gift that my wife and I got when we got married. It was on our gift registry, so we've had this forever. I'm not going to lie to you, I hate baking because baking means you need to be precise and exact. Everything I do in the kitchen most of the time is just like, hey, let's just go. Let's see how it turns out. So we're going to add the eggs right in. I typically use a wooden spoon as I start mixing. We'll see how this goes to get things off the side. Definitely start in a very low speed. Here is my wooden spoon. Just want to get that flour off the walls of this. I'm going to start making a huge mess, I'm sure. We'll increase the speed just a little bit. Really try to get all this egg and flour incorporated in here. And kind of let this go for a minute. I don't want to overdo the dough just because this thing gets a little bit tricky. I have a lot of flour in here now, but I think this will come together nicely. This mixture looks pretty good. Keep this going. I'm going to pause for a moment here and just kind of make sure that it's all mixed up. That needle gets pretty down to it. We really just want this to get together in as much as a ball as possible. The moisture helps a ton, and once I use this, I've got planning on making a spaghetti with the chicken piccata. I've got some grilled vegetables as well. We're going to go outside to the grill in a little while and grill some veggies, get some good spices on all those. We're gonna make my wife's favorite dish, chicken piccata here. So let me take this off here for a moment, and let's just go in and get this dough out and just do the old-fashioned way, the manual process here. So let's start kneading this together. Put this down, and we're gonna go to a little elbow grease and just get into it. What time did we start? I think it was 7:16. What are we at right now? 7:22. All right, we're going. So when you're doing this and working the dough, this is probably a much better style, but you're just using the palms of your hand every time and just working it back and through, incorporating the dough. And if it's a little too moist and you feel like it's sticky, hey, just grab a little bit more flour with that. It's going to come together. So when you don't want is as you put it into the sheeter and then ultimately into the spaghetti where it slices it, you just can't have it too sticky because it's not going to move through that. So oftentimes as I'm doing this, I'm just adding more dough. So it's working it with the palm. And this is always a little bit of a labor of love. In the magic of editing, I'm sure that in videos people will not watch the entire thing of me just kneading through this dough. But hey, we asked for a 45-minute video. We're going to get all the good, all the bad, and make sure this thing works out. So this is actually coming together really nicely now. I wish I was better at paying attention to measuring, but you know what? That's the thing about cooking. If something doesn't work out the way you want it, you just adjust and keep on moving forward. So this is coming together nicely. I think I'm going to get a little bit more flour onto this. This is actually, this right here is a pizza board. We have a little pizza oven that we use outside, and we'll do a lot of pizzas. We'll roll out our dough. We'll make some fresh dough, roll it all out, and we have a wonderful little mini pizza oven. We lay out a lot of different sauces for folks to come over and just pick their ingredients and make their own pizzas. So this dough is, I'm thinking, getting to be just about ready. I'm gonna let it rest. I'm gonna cut it in half and then let it rest for a while. We're gonna move on to some other items of the dinner. Let's see here. I like to cut it and see how the middle looks, because then we know if it's gonna be sticky or not. I'm actually gonna grab a little bit more flour. There we go. My grandmother, Francesca, she did a lot of homemade pasta. And when we did it at the house, I was very young. Remember her making it, but she passed away when I was pretty young. But I do remember some of the lovely food that she made. We actually do pasta with the kids sometimes as well. And this is just a fun event, everyone getting their hands dirty and making sure we got some good food at the end of it. Fortunately, I've got kids that are picky, and I've got a youngest who just likes plain pasta. I've got some older that do like actual sauces. So we always mix it up here at the house, even though I like to toss the pasta in a little pasta water and add my sauces to make it nice and silky and creamy. I feel like I always got to leave a little to the side of just plain pasta that gets a little bit of butter, and that's it. So I feel like this is coming together pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and cut this sucker in half. Let's see here how it looks in the middle. Yeah, I think we're good here. It'll come together in the KitchenAid, the lovely KitchenAid that we got for our wedding. And I'm going to pull this all together, cut it in half, and we are going to be good to go. Because I don't think we need this full amount. We're just going to roll this here, keep it going. And I think we've got 2 good pieces of dough to work with. All right, so this is going to move next. We're going to use these sheeters after this. We're going to start on level 1 for this. I'm going to let this dough rest just for a second, but I am going to put the attachment on here. So we'll be ready to go in a minute. All right, so next thing, let's move over to our vegetables and our chicken. For the chicken piccata, you can use like a full thick chicken breast. It's a little hot behind these lights, excuse me for a moment. A little warm. I am sweating just a little bit. I am going to cut this chicken breast in half. So easily what I do with this is, I've pounded it before, but what I like to do is just pull my hand over the top, make sure I'm just about in the middle, and just slice this chicken breast right down the middle, and make sure I got 2 even pieces when I'm done. Yeah, that's perfect. That's what I want right there. My wife buys these little trays all the time. It's just easy to give the kids food in these things because it's easy cleanup when we're done. So I just put everything in this, and it's just easy throwaway when we're done in the kitchen. I don't love to do the wastage of the paper, but it is what it is. So this piece came out not as good. We'll leave that one to the side. I've got 3 solid pieces that I can use just in case. Let's get rid of this cutting board for the chicken. Wash my hands just here real quick. And we're going to work on the dredge because before we do the piccata, we have to do a little flour dredge before we put the chicken in the olive oil and butter. So that'll be ready here in a moment. I do like to do that first just because it sits there for just a moment. So what we're going to do is take some more flour. We're going to do a little dredge, and of course we got to season everything every step along the way. So almost a cup of flour in this thing, make it easy for us to add some seasoning to it. I'm going to grab just some of our favorite seasoning from the pantry. Nothing too fancy. We have some granulated garlic. This is an easy, extra fancy seasoning and all. I'm not even sure where we got that thing. But you can add anything from like your favorite, seasoning from the store. This is a garlic parmesan. I'm actually going to use a little bit of this. There's a lot of herbs in this one, so this will work nicely with this. I do want to get that extra garlic kick with this, so I'm going to add a little extra of the granulated garlic with this as well. This gives it a great punch. So our dredge now is in the flour. Let's mix this up, and let's add our chicken to it. We're not going to throw the chicken on just yet, but our flour dredge is ready. We'll put this back here. Let's move to cutting some vegetables. With the chicken piccata, we are going to do some mushrooms that go with our pasta, and as well, a little bit of zucchini and squash that we're going to do on the grill outside. Outside, I'm going to do just easy on the grill and these long strips on the mandolin here in a moment. So let's get all this cut up. The mushrooms, I was once told, always just put your fingers in, make sure you don't get them chopped off here. I'm going to do a little bit of a coarse cut with some of the mushrooms, but I also like to have a little bit of the finer cut ones because I feel like when I toss that pasta and the sauce at the end, you've got a little bit of a smaller mushroom that's incorporated in every single bite. So we're just going to get mushrooms cut up here. That's probably plenty because, we have a little bit of pasta for one plate. I'm used to cooking for much larger groups, but I'll tell you this is nice just that I have to do one plate. So we're going to do there and then in half. So that's there and then in half. So I like to have a little bit of nice chopped mushrooms in the sauce, incorporated into the pasta. These will be nice. I don't want to go too fine with them, so a coarse chop is okay. I'm sure someone's going to say they should be a little bit more evenly chopped, but hey, we're going to have a little bit of, let's call them bespoke mushrooms for the dish. Because I do like them a little bit smaller that can be incorporated, so each bite you get in the pasta, you got a nice little mushroom with it. So I think that's fine on the mushrooms. Let's use another one of Mom's handy dishes here to put these in, and we'll keep these off to the side here and use them in just a minute. I'm going to work on a little chopped parsley just to have on my board because I'm going to use that for finishing. As well, we're going to do a little zucchini and squash. When I'm doing the parsley, I don't necessarily take it all the way off the stems, but I like to come off to the side of it here and just shave a little bit of the parsley off of it. This is something we used earlier for a different dish, so it's not a full stock, but that's plenty there. Got my trash can out in the middle of the kitchen to make it easy. And then we're going to go right in and just start chopping this parsley and make it nice and fine. We're going to sprinkle some of this over the finished product. The aromatics you get from this, I just love cutting through it because you immediately start smelling the lovely parsley in here. Make sure we get it all in here. And this is really for a nice little fresh finish. And at the end of the day, we like to eat with our eyes as well. Some good color on the dish as well. So that's a good chop on the parsley. Let's put this right here. Be ready to go. All right. We're moving along quickly with this. I think I'm going to do garlic. I don't cheat on the garlic, but I do have a garlic press. I just feel like it's so much easier to get it. So we're going to put the garlic over here in the press in just a little while. Let's work on the mandolin here real quick. And I'm going to make sure everything's nice and clean here just for a moment. We'll make sure that we just give this a rinse. This cutting board has legs at the end of it, little rubber, or else I'd just turn it over. But I think just a quick wash here, that's fine. We're not cross-contaminating anything here with vegetables. Those are all good. So on the squash and zucchini now, let's take the ends off. Let's go ahead and just run this through the mandolin. I'm going to hold it like this for the first couple. My wife's going to be mad at me for doing that, but afterwards I will get this thing here that protects my hands from it, but this makes it go a little bit quicker. What I'm looking for here is long pieces that are almost like pretty malleable. I'm looking for ribbons to put on the grill. So let's see what we got under here. That might actually be enough. Yeah, here we have these wonderful ribbons here. We're going to put these on the grill, and they cook super fast because they're so thin. We're going to coat these in some olive oil, some chili powder, maybe some cayenne pepper. I like the cayenne on there, but we got plenty of those. We're going to slice those later, or season those later. Same thing now with the zucchini. Oh, we kind of got a bad piece of zucchini. There's a little bit of a sore spot there, but it's all right. We're going to still use it. And we'll go on with this as well on the mandolin. Hear those coming through nice and thin. These are going to be really good. All we're wanting when we put these on the grill is just some quick grill marks because it's so thin already. We want to keep a little bit of the crisp on it. So it's really going to be just both sides into the grill, nice and heavily seasoned. Yeah, look at those. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love it. We're going to put some of those on there. That'll be plenty. And I don't mind the skin. I've got some pieces on here with a little extra skin. We might as well season these up now while I'm here. We're going to do, I just like a little bit of chili powder, cayenne, and we're okay on the garlic. We got garlic on everything else, but we'll just do some spice for this, kind of heat it up a little bit. So I'm going to use some EVOO, as they say. I'm just going to dump it right on here and be liberal with it because I can use my fingers with this and make sure that the squash and the zucchini are coated. And then I'm going to season them. So go ahead, don't be afraid. Get in here with your hands. Get both sides of all of these. And then we're going to add some seasoning. And we're going to get mobile with this. We're going to get outside in a minute. I've already got the grill on. I do not have a good grill surface. My stovetop actually is a little bit small. Big dreams. One day have a bigger house, have a bigger stovetop where I can put some pans all in there together. So let's get in here with the chili powder. I definitely want to do both sides of these with the chili powder. And we can be liberal. A lot of it falls off whenever it's going onto the grill. Give these a little bit of a flip. Go. Get both sides. I probably should have done the other seasoning on those same sides as well because now I'm going to have to redo this. That one's a little small. There we go. Chili powder on everything. Get some great color to that. Let's get cayenne, I guess, just on one side. It might be too spicy, so maybe it's good we're just doing it on one side. For those that don't like spicy foods. I love spicy foods. My wife gardens and gets some tomatoes and wonderful things, some squash. This is not my wife's squash, but she gets some great peppers from the garden as well. We're going to be liberal with the salt and just let this kind of sit here for a moment. We can salt the other side when we take it out to the grill. So let's put that over there for later. All right, we're doing pretty good on time. We are 20 minutes in, almost halfway. We are going to now start kneading out the dough, getting it ready for the pasta. Let's get a little bit of extra flour on my board just because it's liberal with my fingers. Let's see if we can get this thing in here. We're going to start on a 1 here, the lowest setting, and see if this thing comes through. Let's go to a 2. Oh my gosh, thank God. That's looking good already. Let's get this thing through. I actually started on a 2. I should have started on a 1. But the pasta is coming out real nice already. Let's move it to a little bit finer. There we go. This is what I wanted. Woo! Let's go. I've watched shows where people do homemade pasta and this doesn't work out. Man, oh man, people are nervous. And I'll tell you what, here's the thing. This is getting really long. I'm not going to lie. This is like super long. But the reason pasta is bad when it's really long is because when it's dry, it doesn't fit in the pot. This is fresh pasta. It doesn't matter if it's really long. I actually am going to cut this in half. This is getting a little bit too long. Let me grab my knife here real quick. That is more or less the middle because we're going to go through at one more setting to a little bit thinner. We're going to go all the way to the 8. Last time through, and then we're going to switch to the spaghetti, which that goes real quick. And it is so beautiful when those long strands come out from the pasta. Here we go, last time through. All right. We are ready, my friends, to do some beautiful homemade pasta. All right, turn this sucker off, loosen this up. I've cut things by hand before, with this pasta, but this is way easier, way easier. Less manual labor, and it comes out consistently. When I do fettuccine, I've done it with hand cutting before, but sometimes those noodles come out a little bit too. Now this is the beautiful part right here. Look at that coming through. Let's go, beautiful. And we're gonna have 2 bunches of this that are gonna be coming through. That'll be plenty for the one dish we have. I told Cameron and Emery that they would have some food afterwards, so probably I'm gonna have to do a little bit more pasta later, but I'm happy to do it because this is gonna be good, guys. Nothing like just nice, easy, fresh pasta. And it really only takes a few minutes in the actual pasta water. That wasn't the most even thing I've ever done, but hey, it came out. We got 2 beautiful bunches of pasta here. I have a little flour on this. I want to just do a little bit over these things here and just make sure before I put them in the pasta water that they're not too bunched up. So there's plenty of flour on these. I'm going to leave these here and forget it. All this flour on here, we will take care of in a little bit. We have other priorities. So let's move on now. All our vegetables are cut. We are going to dredge this chicken and get it started. So I'm going to go ahead and get the burner on. We're going to put, first things first, move this over a little bit, little dredge on this chicken, and I'm going to do a little bit of extra virgin olive oil here. I don't want too much because this is the same pan that I'm going to do for the sauce afterwards. I don't mind a little extra virgin olive oil in here, but I want a little bit of a combination of butter, and yes, I just pour it in there. I don't necessarily measure anything. So we're going to move now into here. Make sure I've got this on about a medium-high heat. I'm going to go ahead and start with this chicken, get it into the dredge. I really like just to push down with the fork. Make sure you can see from that side. You can't necessarily see all the way back from that camera. I'm trying to stay open here on this. But we have pasta water boiling. We've got a wonderful dredged chicken here with some nice seasoning in it. That's going to go right in. And we're going to be ready to go. All right, next piece, going down, beautiful. All right, here's the best thing about these little paper deals. We're done. No mess, all done. My dogs, I got 2 golden doodles. Sunny, Ruby, stop making so much noise. Excuse them, they're pretty well-trained dogs, but they're still dogs. So pasta's good, we got going here. I'm gonna start as well on the mushrooms, just kind of get those going a little bit. There we go. We're going to just do about medium heat here. And I'm going to do the same thing. The mushrooms, I'm going to add some crushed red pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, salt, pepper into them. But we're going to start with the same, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil for that. Get this pan going. Don't need much. I'm going to add the butter later. I like to put the butter on after those are a little bit softer. Chicken's looking good. This was one of the best investments I ever got. I know they look funny, but kitchen tweezers are pretty awesome to use. This chicken's looking really good. You know what? While this is happening, I think what we're gonna do is move outside because we got a lot going on. So maybe we can take this outside and put these on the grill. I'm gonna steal the kitchen tweezers real quick, but we're gonna move outside just for a moment.
We're good now.
We're good on that? Okay. Go on this one. We're still rolling. Awesome. I got the grill nice and hot. I turned on earlier, and we are just going to look at those sizzle. These are not going to take long at all. We're just looking for some nice, pretty grill marks on these pieces of squash and zucchini. We're going to have these on the side with the pasta and the chicken piccata. I think these add a nice crunch and a little bit of an element of spice to the dish. Let's go one more, and I think we'll be good. Oh, or two. We might as well put them on here. They're all sitting here. We'll go ahead and use them all. So, all right. We've got our squash and zucchini on. These are going to go fast. So this is where it's chased Jack a little bit here. I'm sorry. We are going to reuse this afterwards when they're done, so I'll leave that there. I think my chicken's probably perfect on either side. I want a little bit more brown on this. You can see on one side here, not the brown I want just yet. I want a little bit more color with this without burning it. So we're going to keep this going for a little bit longer. My olive oil here from my mushrooms is just about ready. This is where we have the small stovetop. A little bit of a crowded space here. But we're going to go ahead and throw these mushrooms in here now. Those are coming to temperature, not as hot as I would like it yet. Let's turn it a little bit up on one of the smaller burners. But we're going to have a little spice as well with the mushrooms that we incorporate into the pasta. I like just a nice little bit of crushed red pepper, little bit in there. That gives it a great spice. Definitely want some of this garlic in here. And I'm going to do a little bit of black pepper on the mushrooms because this is just one of my favorites. All right, that is going. Get this coated. All right, those shouldn't be going up, and that'll be perfect in the pasta. Let's see that brown chicken. Oh yeah, there we go. Beautiful crust, sizzling in that oil and butter. Let's put that fan on before Mama gets mad at me. Lovely. That chicken is going nicely. I don't have to worry too much about the pasta just because the pasta is gonna cook in 2 minutes. We're doing okay on time. I think we got another 15 minutes left on the clock. Pasta is ready. Grill outside. Let's get back out to those because like I said, those cook really fast. So let's go outside and flip those zucchini and squash. Watch out, dogs. And these are super thin, and some of them are almost disintegrating because they're too thin, but look at those grill marks. Those are just really pretty. And I don't mind the char. That's just a good amount of flavor in this. We only want a couple of these on the side of the plate. And what I like to do is I just like to roll them up in ribbons. So these are going to cool a little bit, and then we are going to have these rolled up, and you'll have each of them be one little easy bite. It's almost like a sushi roll. But a nice, whoop, lost that one. Nice little piece of vegetable on here. So these are gonna go real quick. In the next 15, 20 seconds, we definitely need to come out here. Let me get out of the light so you guys can see those. All right, tending to my mushrooms. These are looking good. I probably want a little bit more moisture in this. So I'm going to add a little bit of butter to the mushrooms. Chicken's looking good on both sides. Let's grab a little butter and add it to the mushroom. Let that sink in.
What's our time?
We're at 7:48, so we got 13 minutes. We are doing just fine. So this chicken is almost about ready. I think it's about browned on both sides. These mushrooms look delicious. I do want to get a little bit of salt on these mushrooms. I have not done that yet. Make sure these things are seasoned nicely. Little pinch of salt, little 2-finger action. And these are just fine. I'm gonna turn these down to a low heat because these are just about where I want them to be. Mushrooms are done. We are going to go get that squash and zucchini because like I said, they go quick. Have that ready to go for the plating. Yep, these are beautiful. These are just how I like them. Char, not burnt. These are gonna add a little bit of good flavor to this. Some of them are a little bit more charred than others, but I think for the most part, we got enough to use that we want here. Get these off, close the grill and shut them off. Awesome. All right. Let's get in and take that chicken off and start working on our sauce. So let's pull these chicken off to the side and just rest. We're going to turn that down. Chicken is about done. We're going to finish it off in the sauce. So this beautiful brown chicken breast. Love that. You can see all the flour dredge and the seasoning on there. We're going to deglaze this pan a little bit. First off with a little white wine. So someone told me don't cook with white wine that you don't want to drink. So let's start out with here. Little bit of white wine. Deglaze that pan. Definitely want to work and incorporate all the bits and pieces off the bottom of the pan into the sauce. So we're just working this off the bottom. We want that Chardonnay to cook off a little bit. Make sure we get all these bits of flavor that are going to be lovely in our sauce. I'm going to add some chicken stock here in a minute once this reduces. I'm at a good heat right here. This thing is looking good. All right, so let that go. I already have a lemon cut in half from earlier. I'm going to do a little bit of lemon juice in this, right into this sauce. Love that. That's going to give it a nice kick. We are also going to do now a little bit of chicken stock, and I want this to reduce. So, like I said, I don't always measure, but more or less about a cup. And that looks good. We're going to increase that heat just a little bit so we get a nice simmer on this and get this reducing. I'm going to add a little bit of heavy cream to this in a little while. We have a bit of a malfunction here, but hey, we're going to make this work. I wanted to saute a little bit of garlic first, and I did that in the wrong order. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to improvise. We're going to make sure this sauce looks good. This is here for later. I want to get a little bit of garlic going first here because this thing is not the same without garlic. So a little bit of olive oil back in the pan. I have this lovely garlic mincer. I'm going to do probably at least 3 cloves here. So 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to get a little knife here to knock this all off here. Beautiful. I'm probably going to do even 1 more clove of garlic on this because who doesn't like a lot of garlic? It's starting to smell good in here. Awesome. Lovely. Get that garlic going. This is a key piece of flavor that I forgot to do. I like to get the garlic a little bit toasted before I put in that sauce. So doing this a little bit out of order, but hey, it's going to be a great finished product when it's done. So the mushrooms are still looking good. Got a lot of flavor in these. Make sure these aren't burning. I'm actually going to move this to a very low heat. We can probably drop our pasta here in just a moment. 7:52, we got 8 minutes here. We have a little bit of sauce now that we're going to go down in here. That looks good. I can smell the garlic. Let's put our sauce back in now. We're going to let this reduce. And we're going to add some capers. I like a lot of capers. So if you don't like capers, tell me before I cook it for you and I'll put less in. But we're going to do probably at least 3 tablespoons of capers in this. I think this adds a lot of great flavor. And I'm letting the juice go in there as well. So this is going to start reducing. I'm going to add a little bit of cream to this to get it a little thicker, okay? Let this reduce with a little bit of cream. Shake this up, a little bit of heavy cream in this sauce. Plenty. We're going to be ready to go. And just this gives it a little bit of body and color. So we're going to let this reduce, but we're going to let this reduce with the chicken in it. So let's put that chicken back in. Beautiful. All right, I think it's time to drop some pasta. So let's do this. We are going to grab our beautiful pasta here, bring this over to the water, and just drop this sucker in. I'm going to rinse these off just here for a second, just to make sure these are nice and clean. I don't want any bits of the mushroom or anything in there. But this, just look how beautifully that comes out. Just nice and loose. This will just take 2-3 minutes to cook. So we are in a good spot. Spaghetti is looking fantastic. Mushrooms are ready to go. We're going to add the pasta into this. And one thing that's key in the pasta whenever you're cooking it is you want a little pasta water as well. So we're going to add a little pasta water to this after we add it into the mushrooms, the spaghetti, because that's going to give it this nice richness and silkiness. Like, you don't even need to add cream to it. People always think, oh, are you adding cream to your pasta? No, no cream to sauces. If you use just a little bit of starchy pasta water and throw it on there, you're left with a wonderful product. We're going to baste this chicken a little bit. We're going to start getting some of this sauce and capers into this chicken, coming together very nicely. Want to get a little bit more of a reduction with this sauce. So let's keep this thing going at a high heat. This is going to be delicious. But these are nice and thin, and we are just going to roll these suckers up, and they're going to be nice little bite-sized pieces to put onto our plate. So I like these ribbons here. Roll this thing up, and that is just a beautiful one bite. Let's take some of those burnt pieces off. But we are just rolling these ribbons up. I can smell the spice on these, but these will be beautiful to put next to the pasta. They'll accompany that really well. We are about 5 minutes away, folks, from plating, which I'm a little bit behind, but through the grace of Master Chef, I think we're going to get a good plate put together at the very end. So we've got our squash and zucchini. These are ready for plating. Let's make some room here. Actually, on our plates, I told this story to my interview last time. These are my grandmother's plates. I have no idea what they're called, but they're the blue and brown plates is what everyone in my family refers to them as. They're our favorite plates to use as a family because they remind me of Grandma Francesca, Grandma Fran. So I think this pasta is about done. Let's give it a little bit of a taste just to make sure it's a nice al dente. Yeah, it's done. And it's good and salty. We're going to take some of this and we're going to go right into the mushrooms. Beautiful. Right into the mushrooms. This is done for now. We are now going to start incorporating the mushrooms to it. And what I want to do here is I have somewhere around here I thought I did. Yep, it's in there. I stole this to get my mess up done when I forgot to put the garlic into the sauce. But what I'm going to do is just get a little bit of pasta water. And I'm going to put this pasta water right into the pasta. So quarter of a cup or so of the pasta water. And this is going to go right in here. And I think this is where we get a lot of that flavor out of the mushrooms that we did before, right into that pasta. So make sure this is a little hotter now. Get this on here. And we're going to just let all this incorporate. All the flavor from that pasta water, the spicy mushrooms, all going to come together real nicely. And what do they say? That's the sound of love right there. That's the pasta coming together, all the flavors. Beautiful. This chicken is looking really good. It's reducing quickly on the piccata sauce. I honestly think I could use a little bit more time reducing on this, but I think we're gonna have to go with it. But it's a pretty color, plenty of capers on this. I think we are about ready to start plating. Let's go ahead and get a couple more tosses of this. Make sure all that pasta water is cooked out. We don't want it to be too liquidy, but also not too dry. But really what the pasta is doing is it's absorbing a lot of the water, really. I mean, it's so starchy and it's just absorbing all that water, all that flavor. So you're not gonna have a ton of sauce on this, but it's gonna be nice and glazed with that mushroom essence, crushed red peppers, a little garlic, gonna be delicious. So I think this is about ready. A couple more tosses here. I think pasta is ready. I think chicken is about as good as it's gonna get because we are right at 8 o'clock. 8:01 was when we said we'd be done. So let's start plating. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with a little bit of sauce on the plate. And it's a little liquidy. It's not as tight as maybe I would love it, but I still think that it's going to be good because we're going to incorporate some of this sauce and everything else on the plate. So we've got some sauce at the bottom. I want it to extend out a little bit further there, just so it's nice and covered. That is beautiful. We are going to now take our chicken breast and put that here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do the pasta first. I apologize. Let's get our pasta. And the way we do this pasta is I'm going to get a good amount of it, not too much. My wife says I put too much on her dish sometimes. She says this is dainty. Not everyone likes to eat a ton of pasta. But we're gonna just twirl it on this spoon here, and that's gonna let it look really pretty on the plate. So we're gonna get this. My pasta is gonna go on right here. I think that's a perfect portion. What we do want to get is more of these mushrooms. They're along the side of the plan. And when they're small like this, I can put plenty of them out there. Beautiful. Plenty of mushrooms to go on the plate. Let's grab our chicken now. Which piece looks better? I don't know. Let's go with this one right here. I'm going to plate that one right over the top. I might do one more spoonful of this right on top of the chicken. Oh my gosh, beautiful. Maybe a little bit over the pasta, so incorporate some of that flavor. My zucchini and squash mixture, not the prettiest. I think they'll be okay on the plate. We're gonna just put these off to the side. These will be nice as a bite that they go into with it. And these little ribbons stick nice and up on this. Love that. Now, to make it look pretty, let's do two things. I need a little parsley that I'm going to put over everything here. And we cannot forget a little cheese. Let me get a little bit of this off here with a knife. We're going to put this in this. We're going to get some fresh cheese right on the top. Don't want too much, but just enough to make it look pretty. All right. 8:04. I don't know. We started somewhere close to that, right around 45 minutes. I think this plate looks really pretty. We got homemade pasta with some spicy mushrooms, crushed red pepper, chicken piccata with capers, lemon, a beautiful sauce. Hope everyone likes it. My wife's favorite dish. We'll take some pictures of this in a little bit, but hey, this is the Tartaro household. 45 minutes. I think we did a lot in that short period of time. I hope you love it. I wish you could taste it, but if I make it to Toronto, I promise everyone will have a taste and they're going to love it. So again, my name is Jack Tartaro from Yukon, Oklahoma, and I am the next Master Chef.